Welcome, welcome, welcome. As you can see, it is the 14th of November, and look at the crowd. We have got quite a crowd today, which is wonderful. This is probably the last time that we will meet in this room. If we're going to start getting crowds like this, we will be in our other new area that we're going to be working on. So next time we should be in there, and there'll be a little bit more real estate for everybody. All right, we have to start. Catherine has got a video that she wants to share, and she's looking for some critique on the video. And why don't you tell us a little bit about it before we start?
Okay, well, it's the first time that I voiced over, and I don't really like my voice, so I'm trying to figure out what to do about that. And also the first time for some drone work that I just got one, so I'm learning how to do that too. So it's just how it all kind of works together. This is all kind of new for me this way.
No worries. Hang on one second here.
Nobody, yeah, it's good.
Yeah,
right.
Yes.
I need to hear myself.
Okay. I think we're all set. So let me share this for everybody. Hang on a second.
Lofoten Peninsula is on the western side of Norway and is known for its spectacular scenery. Upon arrival, we settled near the town of Leknes, which be our base of exploration. Our cabins were cozy and even produced some evening entertainment. Let the exploration begin. There are small fishing towns throughout Lofoten. You will usually see drying racks where the fish are dried and processed. The beaches were fun to photograph. You could see the surfers who braved the icy waters. Look for patterns in the rocks and look for patterns in the sand.
fabulous. Yeah, fabulous.
Wonderful.
What did you edit? What program?
I edited Photoshop for the photos. I used just a regular video editor, but the one that comes with the Microsoft. So just basically all I did was trimming and
Sure.
maybe changing the speed a little bit.
Sure.
And then everything else was in photo.
Well, yeah, no, just I was asking about the video.
You know, I'm kind of thinking about looking at the Rush Pro, but I don't think I need all that for
No,
a simple thing like this one. It's fine. I don't know anything about video editing though.
Well, you're learning. For a start, I'd say great job. Absolutely great job.
Yes.
Does your video editor have a sound meter so you can see your levels?
Well, once you're in Photopia, you can do that. That's where I can.
The Windows editor doesn't
Have that.
No.
Okay. Yeah. Did you, as you were listening to that, do you hear how your voice is, which I like, by the way? You've got a great voice. Your narration was great. No. We all hate our voices, so I thought that was great.
What I liked about the narration was you just did the right amount. Your voice was fine, but you know, a lot of people, sometimes me, I think, over narrate. They say too much. They tell you what you're looking at. You can see what you're looking at, but you did it just the right amount. Perfect.
Now, I find it hard to control the volume of the background music.
That's
always tough.
Yeah, it's trying to get it to decrease, and it's a real challenge. That's learning.
The reason I asked you which video editor you used, several of them that are a cut above just the basic Windows editor, allow you, like I'm watching the video, I got a little microphone button. I click it and I can do the narration while I'm watching it, and it lays it in as a separate soundtrack. Oh. And then I can up and down the volume, play with it, even bring it into an audio editor, all kinds of cool stuff. But I can make that narration while I'm watching the video, which is really a big deal.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Did you, as you were listening, as we were watching that, did you hear the differences in how your voice was a little lower, but then the music really came in pretty high in terms of volume?
Yeah.
I think that's
still playing with that.
Good. Well, I mean, that's it. That's the thing, that when you get that just balanced a little better, that's going to be really money. The other goodie that you had a little bit of, and not a huge deal, but the music selection was great. Absolutely great for the photos and the video. There was a point where the music stopped, excuse me, and then you started up again. There was that dead couple of seconds.
You gotta fix that.
But we can work on that.
Okay. So get it to do it.
It's a little trick that you just pick up. I had more trouble with that than anything I did.
But as you started this video, I mean, this is the first one that you've done?
Is that like that? Yeah.
Damn good.
A few hours.
They take time. They definitely take time.
Hey, what about the drone photography? Wasn't that great? I mean, wow, you're new to drone photography. I saw things that were just perfect, that it was a different viewpoint, and it really made sense to have that viewpoint. It really showed off the area.
Still a little jerky with the movement. So.
Yeah,
not bad, right?
Not bad. No.
Well, there's some that, depending on weather conditions, my granddaughters have an image. But if the wind is calm and everything's good, it takes really great pictures. But if we get a little bit of wind, you see the flutter in it right away.
Here's a thought. Oh, go ahead, Todd.
I don't know if it was the angle to the TV, but in the beginning, some of the exposures seemed a little underexposed. So I thought it was a little bit dark.
You know, we've talked about this. We haven't balanced this TV yet.
Yeah.
It looked pretty good here, but I think that's something that's overall.
Well, that's the other thing with these kind of TVs. If you're sitting at an angle, you're not getting.
We had trouble with this one last week.
Yeah.
Color, right.
My thought is, you know how like you were doing your drone stuff and you were flying and you were doing great, and then you gave a little turn.
Yeah.
Cut that little bit out and then just add a nice little dissolve between the two shots, so that jerkiness isn't in there where you turn.
So stop it there, but then bring in the other one, but have it dissolve between them?
Yeah, just cut that part out where that turn is made, and that'll smoothen everything out.
The other thing is when you're flying your drone, if you can take both controls and turn them at the same time. So instead of like get this way and then turn that way, you could do it just like a bird or a plane.
Yeah, yeah.
So anyway, but I'd say great job. Absolutely great job for first one.
Yeah, good job. Beautiful.
And I thought that was, you're great with your drones and your video and your stills where you did the Ken Burns type of thing. So the stills were moving a little bit also. It fit right in with all the rest of the motion.
Yeah, it was difficult to tell the difference between the Ken Burns thing and the drone work. Yeah, it really nailed it.
Do you know what Ken Burns is?
No.
It's the it's an Apple thing. Basically, it's how you were giving some movement to the photos, turning them and zooming in a little bit.
Is the technical term aggressive?
You would ask the video expert over there what the correct term is.
What isn't the correct term? The correct term is iconographic technique.
Well, we're trying to get rid of Ken Burns.
That's what I was just saying. Isn't the technical term?
Give it another name. I'll use that.
It's the iconographic technique.
That's too hard. You came home with the drone? You came home with it? It's still with you?
Yeah.
That's good. That's a plus. It's one of those things. It's not a matter of if you're going to lose the drone, it's when you're going to lose it.
But I did, what's interesting though, because like, I guess within the software, the DJI software, I went to Finland after that, I was like 5 miles from the Russian border, and it said no.
Yes.
It said, you are not authorized.
There's an app that I'll tell you about later that will tell you where you can fly and you can't fly.
Okay, let's do that. Because I have a couple.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Tell me on my screen.
Yeah. Well, it'll tell you on the screen, but before you go somewhere, it's always nice to check it, thinking, oh, I'm going to go here. And then you go, oh, it's a national park. I can't fly in here. It will not allow me to fly. So,
I didn't know that.
oh, yeah.
I know.
I
guess you can start right outside the gate entrance or park entrance and bring it up. And can't even do that.
Can't even do that. It will, when you get to a restricted airspace, it will stop. It will not let you fly any further. So if you're saying I'm going to fly from outside of the area, try doing a restricted airspace, it will not let you do that.
Does it just turn around then?
It just basically stops and then you have to bring it back. So yeah, it's almost like hitting an invisible wall.
Wow.
So
and the government is on systems on the Mexico border where you lose vision.
Yes.
I've had drones on the border and all of a sudden I lost the picture.
So how close do you have to be to the border?
You know, I was within a few feet. It's still recording, but it just kills the microwave signal. And that's your government.
Interesting.
And the next thing they're going to do is install little missiles to shoot them down.
Haven't you seen that cartoon where the guy standing out behind his house and you see the Amazon drone coming over and he grabs the shotgun and he says to his little kid, hey, we're going to have skeet shooting with prizes.
All right. Well, thank you for sharing that. That's really good. We'll talk about some things after class today. Arlene, why don't you share your video since you're Zooming, and then we'll come back to some videos here in the club. Tell us a little bit about it.
Okay, this one is from Valley of Fire, and we hiked down to see the wave. And so this is a video of our hike.
Arlene, there weren't any dragons in there.
Actually, I didn't think about that.
What do we think?
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Is that near Vegas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Less than an hour north. Yeah. I've been there.
yeah, it is. Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, but I will never do that hike again.
That looked like a terribly
Hey,
long,
Arlene.
hard hike.
Did you hear? I guess I'm becoming Mr. Sound Levels because did you hear the difference, Arlene, in the levels when you had the first song was the really, really loud. And then the second time you played it again, it was really soft. And then at the very end, the last bit was really loud. Do you hear that difference?
No.
Believe it, but I did.
And are you in Premiere? Is that your?
Yeah, I use all of Premiere. Yeah, the CC that you pay $600 a year for every year for the rest of your life. Yeah.
And I'm assuming that has a sound meter.
Yeah, it does.
You might want to, after we're done, just as a curiosity thing, you might want to go back and play that again and watch those sound meters for the levels on the music.
Okay.
Just to even it out because it's not consistent. I guess that's the thing. I don't care if it's too quiet or necessarily too loud, but if it's real loud, then it's soft, and then it's loud again. It just
is there a tool that can analyze your video and tell you?
Yeah.
Well, there's a normalization that you can go to and set that for each of the audience.
Yeah, but
this is low, this is high, this is within range, and analyzes.
Well,
where you are the timeline with the.
Yeah, but I guess the thing that I would do is I'm looking at my sound meters and I'm watching that. I'm saying, okay, I want to be below 0 decibels.
Yeah.
And maybe down to -6, somewhere between -6 dB and 0 dB.
Yeah.
And as I'm watching the video, I want to see where that's at. So the second time that song came in, for whatever reason, that volume was lower, a lot lower. Because what I ended up doing at the beginning, I turned the volume way down on the TV here, and then I had to kind of turn it back up in the middle. So manually, instead of relying on a computer to program to say, well, this is where I need to set these levels, you manually just want to look at that and say, okay, I'm good throughout. So
you're when I did that in my video, I tried to be real consistent because you pick on us for and I've heard once that the videos 50% of your video presentation is your sound.
Right.
The music selection.
Sure.
All that is really a lot more than you think about when you go into it. So I was really watching that, but there's a lot going on. And am I going to catch something or not? Mine was pretty basic, so it's not that complicated, but there's some of them are more complicated. So I was just wondering if there was a tool that could give me histogram. They start a video, end a video, and this is where, all your points.
I took the video track and separated it from the audio track. I copied the audio track off, ran it through Audacity, normalized it, put it back in, and it worked about 95–98%. The problem then became I was out of lip sync a couple places, and it was really difficult to put that back. But then I learned that little trick that you had where you used to still to start, and that took care of the lip sync. But yeah, you can pull it out, and several of the video editors have a built-in audio editor that is excellent. If you're in DaVinci, it's called Fairlight. Am I correct? Yeah. You can pull Fairlight up, and you can put all the tracks together and make them the same volume in Fairlight.
I think the thing I do, Royce, just as a quick goodie, once I kind of have laid down my video and I'm getting my music, and if Catherine was doing her narration, I then just watch the meters. Play it through again and watch the meters. The thing that's good is on some of these, at least on my program, it will tell me when I'm peaking. I will get a red light saying, hey, too much. And then I can go back in and maybe just knock that part down. Or like in the case of the music, you figure that it's fairly consistent all the way through. So as long as I've leveled it correctly, then I should be okay throughout.
Yeah, I think the other thing, at least in Fairlight and Da Vinci, is whenever there's a red bar that'll show the peak, right, and it stays there to show you. So even if you miss it at that moment, you can look back and see, oh, somewhere I peaked, you know, this right, peaked too high. I've got to go back and find where that is and lower it. The other thing, I know we talked about this before, in Fairlight, it has automatic ducking for narration. So it senses when you're talking, you have to set it up, but it senses when you're talking, ducks some music down, so then the narration comes through and the music isn't, you know, blowing it out.
Yeah. These are just, you know, they're things like you said, Royce, that take your video and make it a little bit more professional, for want of a better term. That just that audio is such a huge issue with these videos. And I guess I do harp on it, but it's like, man, I hear it and it's like, wow, that really.
Yeah, you ruined it for me.
Thank you. One other quick goodie too, Arlene. Pictures and everything were great. At one point, there I saw it twice. There was like a red X that came through the video. What is that?
I was using Motion Array. And I guess because I'm not a subscriber at $20 a month until you die, I guess maybe that's why you get the red X. I don't know, because I was trying to figure out how to get the red X out, because, you know, I'm pretty good in Photoshop, but and so I figured that, you know, hey, because I'm not spending the $20 a month or whatever it is, that the red X is there. But I sort of like that. So now I'm going to have to figure out on my own how to do that, that transition.
Okay. Is there a way that you could do that in Premiere, do you think?
Yeah, well, so this video took about 20 hours to do.
Sure.
So I was sick of it after a while. I was just sick of it. And so I just thought, the hell with it. Oops, the heck with it at the end with the X's. And I thought, it doesn't matter who's going to care. Nobody's going to care. But you did.
Obviously, you've shown it to me. Sorry about that.
Can we have a show of hands in the room? How many people care?
Yeah.
Not many.
Well, not many care.
Go for it, Arlene.
Oh my God. I think it's a thing that we always want to try to make our videos the best they can be.
Yep.
And so when we show it, somebody can't nitpick it, so to speak. And I don't want to think of it as nitpicking as much as just pointing some of these things out to try to improve.
I don't. I'd rather see you nitpick.
Well, that's okay. Somebody else.
You know, one thing that would be interesting for the upcoming showtime would be to show this Valley of Fire presentation and the one we had last week that had all serene music and everything behind it. So I mean, it was a big contrast. The music was definitely that techno kind of thing. Yeah, it was certainly a 180 to what we were seeing. So
I liked that hammer, well, the pecans.
Yeah.
Very good.
There you go.
All
right.
Well, with your tongue hanging out and panning, I thought that was the perfect music.
Well, wonderful. Well, thank you for sharing that with us. Royce, why don't you tell us about your video that you've got?
I went up to St. Anthony's last week, monastery up around Florence. And I've been to quite a photogenic place. I haven't been to that kind of place for a long time, and had a lot of opportunities. So it inspired me to do something on video.
difficult language, the old language. Well, they don't use that.
You're well traveled. Nice.
I like that.
Wow, that's like being there.
Yeah.
Seriously, very good.
Light, please.
Yeah, I like that you had some unusual perspective on many of those shots.
What editing software do you use, Royce?
I use Filmora.
Okay.
Yeah. I think so.
Did you stabilize some of those video shots in post?
I tried,
Okay.
and I just got tired of waiting 10 minutes and 2%.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, that's the problem.
and my camera was not set up for stabilization.
Okay.
My phone was off,
Okay.
and I actually shot a lot more video, and I looked at it, I go, garbage. So I really tried to salvage some of it. Then I was like, I ended up keeping because I really like the shots.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, that's fine. There was a couple of times when camera has stabilization, and then you try to do stabilization in post on the editing. There's this little kind of wobbly effect you get on the edges. I don't know if you saw that.
No.
Okay. Anyway, it's
Okay.
It's not a huge deal.
No, yeah, I was really disappointed in the whole stabilization of the video.
Okay.
Because the first time I've used my new phone, my Canon 80D, I haven't used it since I bought my phone.
Sure.
So anyway, I was really disappointed in the whole stabilization, so I have to work on that.
Okay.
But,
I had to stumble on the name of it, but the grandkids have a gimbal.
Yeah,
Sure.
I have one too, but I never use it.
Oh,
Wow.
it really works, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
Very well.
Yeah.
So on the software editing, because I don't know it, I know in the stabilization in DaVinci, there's one box you can click that's called zoom. And so it will make sure it zooms in and takes everything out, all the wankiness out of it.
Sure. Your music was great. You know, and I wonder what people think. At the very end, you had that great thing talking about the text, talking about the monastery.
Need to be longer.
It needed to be a little longer just because I got down to about the last 2 sentences and it was gone.
Yeah.
What do you think? And I don't know either way, if that was in the front end of the video. Maybe you had a little intro and then you had that part, kind of, this is what we're seeing, and then you show your video.
Could you scroll what?
No, I don't know that you would scroll it. I'm just saying, just in terms of, I mean, there's
Concept of what you're seeing. What is it you're looking at?
Well, I liked all that information. It's like, okay, I've never heard of this place. And it's like, what is this? And then at the end, you have that great text talking about it.
Kevin, could that be all in narration? Or
it could be.
Yeah, it can be.
It could be.
all narration?
Sure. And maybe during the
I liked it at the end because the visuals made me kind of tune in and want to know what it was I was looking at. And then it told me. Whereas if I saw the text at the beginning, I might tend to skim over it and think, oh, do I really want to see this?
Yeah.
I thought it worked well at the end.
I think it's just something you try it and see. Maybe you show us a couple of like 3, 4, like maybe the beginning, like a drone shot. One of your drone shots was great in terms of flying in and seeing it. Then maybe here's the text. Now here's the rest. Ultimately, I think it's just a thing you try it and see. How does it look? You know, do I like it or don't I like it? And go from there. But I mean, again, that's not a huge thing. I think if you just extended the time at the end, maybe another 4 or 5 seconds for us to read that text all the way through.
Because I'm a fast reader and I didn't finish it.
Yeah, I didn't know.
The thing I always try to do if I'm going to have text on screen is as I'm watching that text, I say it out loud. Instead of reading it in my mind and not saying it, that's usually a good indication as to how much time it needs to be on screen. So I read it and then I say, okay, maybe another extra second or 2, and then I'm good. So it's just a thought.
Okay.
Anybody else have thoughts on that video?
Beautiful.
I thought it was great.
Yeah. Gorgeous, and you had a gorgeous day. The interior shots were great too. So I say well done.
I thought it was, I was sitting there with the ceiling shots and I thought, oh no, I'd be on my back to make sure
Secondly, it's not in all Greek churches that you get to do that. So it's interesting that, you know, you had the ability to just wander around the iconographs and icons and take all those pictures.
The one other thing was, is when the two people were talking, I didn't understand.
Yeah, I
what they
didn't
were
either.
saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
what they were saying, so.
Yeah, my intent was to catch the accent more than the text, you know,
Okay.
what they're talking about. I filmed it a long time, there was a couple minutes of that, and I go, no, it's just too long, and but yeah, I could add some more in there.
Well, that or take it out.
Yeah.
I mean, you have this nice tranquility going on with the scenery and the pictures and the music, and you just kind of get in this nice mood of, it's very calm, and then all at once here's people talking and like you were saying, I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to stop that and hit it again another time to hear what they were saying.
Or I can give you this Greek lady who'll just do a couple lines. It would sound great. You just put her in.
Maybe that could be the narration.
It's the Russians and the Ukrainians, Croatians, so there's a mixture of people, and that's why they're different chapels.
Okay.
Around there, from what I understand.
Camera Club has done field trips to that monastery, and they were very well received. If there's somebody there who wanted to go and kind of lead a group. Okay, they need a leader. Just talk to Monica.
So.
I'll give you a name.
Did you have something else? Did you have something else to say?
Yeah, I did. I had one other thing. And this is for you or anybody that may know this. When you went to the fountain, is there a way that you can start the sound softer and then go up and then go back down? So it's just not a.
I tried to do that. That's actually
water,
no
water.
Yeah, I did it.
Well, maybe what we need to have is a little workshop on sound.
Yeah.
Well, seriously, come in and let's, somebody bring in a laptop, if you've got a laptop and you've got your program, bring it in. We've done that with Todd before, and that's worked out great. Absolutely great. Maybe that's something we'll do at some point to help people with that. So
That would be good.
Okay. Lynn, why don't you tell us about your Ghost Town video?
Okay. We lived in the Black Hills in South Dakota in 1980, and we took our kids to see these ghost towns. So these are actually slides and negatives that I scanned this past summer. I took all these 900 slides down to Green Valley. Thought I was going to do them at the computer club, didn't get on to doing that. So we bought a little Minolta converter box.
Okay.
And I scanned all 900 slides during the summer, and then Ken did the post-production stuff on. Anyway, so these are just slides from the 1980s and 1990s.
Okay.
Some are in New Mexico.
Great.
And it's just north of Deming area.
All right. Well, let's take a look.
In the 1880s, there were many mining camps all over the western United States. These mines produced gold, silver, lead, zinc, and many side products. Many mines were shut down in the 1930s, 1940s, and 1950s. We were fortunate enough to see some of them before they were bought up and boarded up. Trojan have long covered tracks to keep the snow off the track in the wintertime. Most mines had buildings left, but the Etta mine was a giant hole in the ground. There were trees growing far below the ground surface. Riders rode from Kingston to Hillsboro to warn residents of flash flooding coming down the canyon. At Hillsboro, there stands the remains of the Sierra County Courthouse and Jail. This is the area that Billy the Kid spent some time during the infamous Lincoln County Wars. In Kingston, there's a headstone for Malin Corker and his pale bozo. Chloride had several old buildings that had false fronts, corbels, and a fancy door latch. There was a tree in the middle of the road that was called the hanging tree. However, no one was ever hanged from the tree. There was a headstone that simply read, "Killed by Indians." San Pedro was home to a wooden Catholic church and long adobe ruins. The builders used wooden pegs instead of nails. White Oaks was bypassed by the Santa Fe and the El Paso and Northeastern railroads, but a few houses still remain, at least they did in the 1990s. Billy the Kid occasionally visited White Oaks. The remains of the Exchange Bank was a reminder of the Billy the Kid era.
So what my question is, because I don't know where these places are, it would be nice to have the state, at least the abbreviation, after the city name.
People don't know where the Black Hills are?
No, but you have these
Yeah,
names.
but I don't, not all, I mean, Black Hills.
All, if you had Chloride, New Mexico, or Arizona.
Okay, because I put at the beginning of all of those.
You did, but I guess.
In New Mexico.
I guess it's a thing. Yeah. That you're sitting there as you're watching it, you might forget, oh, this is all New Mexico or whatever.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because
they're all. Yeah, I didn't catch that they were all in New Mexico.
Well, you had different states, but I think it's okay to say these are in New Mexico or Black Hills or whatever. But then just having that.
Okay, like Fierro, New Mexico.
Yeah. Well, or
Mexico. And just an M. You don't have to have the whole state. Just the abbreviation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
so
that
what
would help.
Program did you use to make the slideshow?
Premiere Elements.
Bill, what am I going to say about sound? What's that?
That one needs to up.
The audio balance was very nicely done.
Oh, well, the overall balance or the overall level was way low.
Yeah.
You saw how much I had to turn up the TV. I mean, I had to jack it way up. Yeah, but what I'm saying is, when we're done today, I'm going to put that into my editing program, so don't leave. We're going to look at the level, and I'm going to show you where the level's at. I mean, you're way low, way low. You just need to boost it up a little. Boost it up.
Okay, because I have to figure out how to jack that up.
Okay, we'll work. Okay.
The fact that you got those off on both sides of negatives is just amazing. Because the quality is beautiful, but the color depth is there.
Well, we have some of the negatives as pictures
Okay.
and a photo album, and the pictures look bad. And I thought, like, well, these are horrible. But then I did the slides and the negatives, and I'm like, man, there's actually color in these. But you know what's kind of cool? At Chloride, they have those old buildings with a raggedy.
Right.
Okay, that's what it looked like when we were there in 1990.
Sure.
92, I guess it was. We were there. I have gone and Googled Chloride, New Mexico, and those buildings have been renovated, and one is now a cafe, and the other one is a museum.
Nice.
And that's kind of cool, I thought.
It's definitely cool that you've got that history.
Right.
Before this was all done.
Yeah. See, and we have it's called Ghost Towns in New Mexico book that we bought, umpteen decades ago. And those pictures were taken probably 20 years before we were there. So we have pictures from the book, pictures from when we were there, and then we could get pictures.
Nice.
That are just.
Go ahead, Monica.
There is a Chloride, Arizona that's also a ghost town.
Yes.
Tom and I have been there. So that was when they said, oh, you should put because I was confused. I've been to Chloride, Arizona ghost town, but I've never known that there was a Chloride, New Mexico ghost town.
Yeah, all of these are like in the triangle between Deming and Socorro and in that area.
Okay. The other thing that it might be is to stick up a map and just show where it's at on the map. I don't know where you want to do that in this, probably towards the beginning, but to give everyone an idea, okay, this is a day trip to or whatever,
Right.
But it would be a need. Now I've got in my mind a comparison between the ghost town in Arizona and the ghost town in New Mexico of the same names.
Yeah, I would like to kind of go back there, just take a overnight trip or something over that area and scout those places again and see what that.
If you go up to Las Vegas, it's on the way up to Las Vegas.
Okay, Chloride is?
Yeah.
However, the people who live in Chloride
would not agree with you that it's a ghost.
That it looks to me, it looks like a ghost town, but yes, there are people that live there.
Yeah, but anyway, there were places that we tried to go, and they were boarded up. They were, fenced in, no trespassing.
Yeah.
But the one mine that we went to that had all that stuff sitting around, it's like they just up and left all this stuff.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Was that the one up in the Black Hills?
Yeah.
Well, they did have typhoid that went through 1 year. I'm from South Dakota.
Are you?
Yeah. And but they did have a really bad case of typhoid went through, and a lot of the miners died then. So it could have been because of disease.
Could be.
And everybody packed up and left.
Yeah. Did anybody catch the picture that had cyanide?
Yes, I saw that. And I said, okay, you should have, but it was upside down. But yeah, the cyanide.
Yeah. Can of cyanide. I'm like, whoa, do we have our kids here? That's a good idea.
All right. Does anybody have anything else on that?
Okay, so
everybody packed up and left too.
Yeah. Okay, so I kept hearing all these weird little sounds.
Yes.
I don't know if that's something
that was not you. I think that was members on Zoom that their mics weren't muted, and so the best part is when I put this in, when I put this in YouTube, you won't hear any of that because I'm going to play your video.
Because I'm like, what's that?
Yeah, that wasn't you. No, it wasn't you.
Okay.
Okay. Well, our hour is about up. I know we have other stuff that people have brought, but we can save that for the next time. Unless, Tom, do we need to show one of yours?
Let's do the one on the field trips.
Yeah. Okay. Tell us about it, and we'll show that, and that'll be the last one today.
Okay. Real quick. We've been working on projects over the summer to market the club, and so one of the things we've been working on is a series of snippets that talk about the Camera Club, what all we do, and invite people to come down to the club. And what we're intending to do is have this available for a lead into Showtime, a lead into Travelog, and a speaker series, so that we can say this event's brought to you by the GVR Camera Club. Boom! Here's a 1 minute or 2 minute snippet, and just kind of let people know who we are, where we are, and what we do. Real quick backstory, I was talking to Gene about trying to find a pastor who could narrate this, and he said, oh no, go online and you can find some voices and everything. So at 71 years of age, I finally found a woman I can make happy for $10 a month.
You shared it with
her name is Ashley, and she's on voicemaker.in, which is kind of fun. But based on the critique I got last week, I cleaned up the lead-in and the tail piece of it. And the lead-in and the closures are going to be pretty much consistent for all the videos that we're looking at doing.
Okay. All right, let's check that out.
You're a new Green Valley Recreation member and new to the Green Valley area. So where do you go if you're interested in digital photography? You need to make tracks to the Recreation Village at Santa Rita Springs, just off the I-19 frontage road. There you'll find the GVR Camera Club, located on the east side, second level of the Santa Rita Springs Recreation Center. Our club is one of the largest in the country. One of the most popular things the Camera Club offers to its members are the many field trips we conduct between October and April each year. Whether you're interested in the region's arts, crafts, and rich history, trips to the area's birding and nature hotspots, unique cultural festivals, and regional holidays, the really interesting folks and cool critters you meet along the way, and, of course, the Wild Wild West. Our field trips provide a fantastic opportunity for you to get out and hone your picture-taking skills, compare notes, and share photos with others on your trip. Learn about the area from our volunteer guides and have a ton of fun in the process. Field trips really make you hungry. Since many of our field trips end around lunchtime, we strive to take full advantage of the opportunity to try new foods and make new friends. By the way, it's perfectly okay to snap photos of your meal. Stop by the Camera Club in the Santa Rita Springs Recreation Center to learn about all the other fun and interesting things you can do as a Camera Club member. Come make friends and photographs.
Okay.
Nice job.
Yeah, it works great.
Succinct,
Voice is great.
inviting. Is there a way to like change the opacity of the pictures and the text, where the text scrolls over the pictures, so you can read the text a little better?
Well, we could. Once I look up the definition of opacity, I'll deal with it.
Maybe it's not supposed to read it text. You're supposed to see how much stuff is going on.
Yeah, and part of the critique I got was, you know, the scrolling too fast, but the whole idea was really to try and convey the magnitude and the number of field trips we do, rather than, you know, have people kind of go through an itemized listing of what we do.
Right.
Yeah, I thought I liked it, but I thought if the text were opaque and the photos were translucent, you could read it better.
Okay, yeah. I'll give that a shot.
Maybe one consideration is have a photo on one side, or change photos on one side, and have the text with a black screen on the other side, and scrolling up in that way.
Like that. Yeah.
Maybe a map where you've got all the little dots that start showing up in places we've been.
It might be a lot. It's so quick. I love what Todd's idea is a great idea. It just gives people an idea. Wow, there's a lot of stuff going on at the Camera Club that we can do, and yet you still get some photos to kind of see some of the past events.
Because visually with the photos behind the copy and everything, your eyes are like, what I look at? What I look at? Yeah, trying to read it, but then you're trying to look at the photo at the same time, and our brain doesn't work like that, or mine doesn't.
Sure.
And the make photographs and friends was a great line.
Yeah, I thought you'd like that.
Yeah, I do.
Well, I definitely say
Thank you, Holly.
Huge props to Tom for doing all this, because he really has done a nice job. And we, on the off week, we've been looking at some of these videos that he's done, and they are really nice. And these are, in some cases, they're placeholders. The imagery is placeholders. We want to get new imagery, but at least he's got something in there to say, hey, this is kind of what I'm thinking, and away we go. So I'd say well done.
Yeah, well done.
Okay, does anybody have anything else before we sign off today?
Hope to see you all Thursday, at least on Zoom. And Todd, I really hope to see you Thursday.
You will. You will. All right, everybody. Okay. Thank you for coming today. We've had a great time. We've got to see some videos. We have more that we didn't get to see, which is good, because then we have more to show next time. We meet again in 2 weeks. It's the 28th. It'll be the Monday after Thanksgiving. And I hope that those are in town come back out. We'll be in the other room, so we have plenty of room to spread out.
Is there any plans to start switching back to once a week?
We haven't gone there. I don't know. We'll have to talk about that. We will see. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Happy Thanksgiving.